Okay. I mean, I guess I'm about as ready as I'll ever be for this, right? Let me just make sure that link actually worked. Yeah, it did. Okay. Okay. I don't know, man. It's, it's a little bit nerve-wracking. Like, I don't even know what to talk about first. So, I released Bounty Below. That happened. Like I said it would, and just as planned, everything went perfectly according to plan. I definitely didn't release it, and there was like a day one bug that I couldn't replicate that made it unable for people to buy any upgrades. I definitely didn't have to do like major sweeping balance changes that for people already much deeper in the game than I thought they ever could be in one day's time, kind of bricked them out of progression. None of that happened. It went perfectly fine. No problems whatsoever. Oh, man. I'll be the first one to admit that the release was, like, a bit of a train wreck, right? Like, it was pretty messy. But I don't know, man. I hadn't touched the idle portion of the game at all for years. So I just kind of hoped that it would be fine, considering there was a version of the idle portion of the game playable for the entirety of my work on dungeons. So this part of the game that you're seeing right here, all of this was available for since like 2016, 2017, but it's been out for a while. And none of the problems that presented themselves with the Steam version were ever brought up by anybody who played, the original release on itch.io. So, I don't know. I guess I just kind of, like, I hoped that everything was okay, considering no complaints were ever brought up about that sort of thing. Like, I don't know. I figured I would have at least heard that there were balance issues, as bad as the balance issues were. But I guess not. The itch player base was substantially lower. Like, I'm pretty sure in the day one release of Bounty Below on Steam, the first day got more players than the itch release has had in its entire lifetime, like 4 or 5 years that it's been up there. So, I guess I'm not too surprised either that I didn't get a ton of super helpful information out of the people who had played the version on itch, just because there wasn't that many of them. I'm not paying attention to the game at all. I'm a little bit nervous. Like, I kind of expected to be nervous. Like, I felt really good after ending my last stream. What was it? It must have been Tuesday? Like, Tuesday evening, Wednesday morning. I was, like, super confident. And I thought that it was, like, a really good stream. And it made me pretty happy to be back streaming again. But then, like, the more I thought, like, the days leading up to the release of Bounty Below, I was like, oh, fuck, dude. Like, I feel like just having the Discord connected, I mean, I think it's a good thing, right? Like, I do think that it's probably for my own benefit that I just have one Discord instead of, like, splitting it into, like, a game Discord and a stream Discord. That would be kind of weird. But it does make me nervous. Like, there's not even that many people in there. Like, I don't know. I don't want to be, like... I don't want to act like, what is it, like 70 or 80 people? I don't want to act like that's not enough when the Discord has sat completely empty for years. Let's not go that far. Obviously, It's quite a big difference compared to how it used to be. But I mean, like, in the whole scheme of things, especially when, like, it's in the goddamn dead-ass middle of the night, 1:38 a.m. in my time, at least, which is, like, the most average of time zones for North America. Yeah, the English-speaking audience is not entirely asleep. You know, there's parts of Europe, obviously, but, and the rest of the world. But, yeah, I don't know. At least people where I live are asleep, so, but still, it makes me nervous. Like, even though there's, like, not that many people who could show up in here, like, most of the time, I have my viewership blocked out so I can't see it, because it can feel bad to stream to 0 people forever. But now I have it blocked out because, like, it's honestly kind of comforting. Like, that's something I kind of wanted to talk about in the last stream, is I'm, like, not doing this game correctly at all. Yeah, something I wanted to mention in the last stream, in regards to, like, a topic I brought up, was that, you know, even though I've done this streaming thing for a decent chunk of time, like, a year is nothing to sneeze at, even though I did take a pretty long break. I have, like, absolutely 0 experience with, like, good quality chat interaction, just because that's not something you get as a streamer with 0 viewers. Who would have thought? So it does make me a little bit nervous, having the thought that people could be here, because if they say something, like, I'm just bad at it. Like, I'm pretty good, or I've gotten good, and, like, streaming to 0 viewers for a year has trained me to, like, get in that mind space where you can just carry on a conversation with yourself for hours at end. And that completely falls apart when someone says literally anything in chat. Like, my brain just melts. I feel the urge to, like, immediately respond to someone in chat, even if it's, like, you know, I mean, no offense to chatters in my stream's history, but even if it's, like, a completely pointless throwaway message that doesn't need, at the very least, immediate attention, I can't help myself from being like, you know, this is what you're supposed to do as a streamer, which, like, to some degree is true. Like, especially as a smaller streamer, it would just be, like, dumb if you had bad chat interaction. Like, if you seriously have, like, 3 people talking in your chat and you can't keep up with that, like, what are you doing? But at the same time, I don't know. I feel like there's an there's an in-between where you definitely have to care about, like, every single individual's chat message. And then on the 2 edges of the spectrum, very, very low viewership and stupidly high viewership, where there's just, like, 1,000 chat messages per hour. You don't really need to care about chat interaction that much. Like, I feel like, especially at the high end, you could go an hour without reading a single chat message, and people probably wouldn't even notice. I mean, you know, obviously there's the classic, does this streamer even read chat message that you'll get occasionally, but you just pick those out. And so long as you respond to those specific messages, being like, you fucking idiot, of course I'm reading chat, then, yeah, people will pretend like you're reading all 20 or 30 messages per second. Even though, obviously, that's impossible. So long as you can catch those, you can pretend to be a legendary streamer, unlike ever seen before. But I don't know. Yeah, it's like there is going to be that weird growing pain, if ever there is a time where people actually watch me. Which sounds sad, but you know, that's why I had the break. Is I don't feel nearly as bad. Oh, dude, fucking buying the trinkets before you even bought the anvil. What kind of amateur hour is this? But yeah, that's part of the reason why I took the break, is to, you know, I guess just like feel better about the fact that, yeah, you know, you're probably going to be streaming to 0 people, maybe for the entirety of however long you decide to stream. If that is not a fun experience for you, sorry, well, I already fucked it, so I don't really care. It's kind of important that you get the perfect craft bonus early, because that's actually, like, an insanely meaningful achievement. So, next time I craft something, I'll try extra hard to get the perfect craft. It's still good to get a decent craft, though, you know? 3 tiers higher. That was something someone brought up. It's like, getting a craft to be absolutely perfect is really hard. And I'm like, yeah. Like, it's supposed to be hard to get it perfect. Now, I'm not, like, super happy. Look, I'm gonna break my own game down, okay? For anybody who has the false pretense that, like, I'm super proud of Bounty Below and this is, like, the pinnacle of my achievements, prepare for that to be shattered, I guess. Because I don't know. Like, it definitely grew on me towards the end of development, but mostly dungeons. Like, mostly dungeons is what I'm proud of. And there's still a lot that's wrong with it. Like, I do definitely need to add item descriptions. There's a reason as to why there aren't item descriptions. It's not a great reason, but basically, for, like, the majority of development on dungeons, for the majority of development on dungeons, there were, like, 5 items. 5 items total in the whole game. But then as I started gearing up for release, I started adding, like, a bunch more items, and I didn't even have, like, modifiers implemented, so I added a bunch of modifiers, got that working. But for the majority of Bounty Below's development, right up until the very last day before it was released, every single item in the game was entirely self-explanatory. There was no need for item descriptions. You have the you know, the signpost right when you spawn in that tells you, hey, these are the buttons you press. And also, for anyone who's not aware, because, like, I don't know, I thought about, like, extending the note and writing, like, keybinds on top of it, but I feel like most people who open this probably just accidentally mouse over it on their way to the X button, and maybe figure out that these are actually rebindable. But anyways, yeah, you got the signpost here that tells you all of the buttons you'll be pressing in dungeons. You can rebind them. So I feel like, especially this is like the only information you really need to be told. Like, WASD and mouse is probably expected, given that your mouse turns into a crosshair. E, I guess, is probably kind of important, but every time you need to interact with something, it gives you the prompt anyway, so I'm going on so many tangents. The point is, this was, like, all the information you needed. Like, yes, there were spells, and there were abilities. One ability for the longest time. I only had one ability implemented. But you see what item slot it goes in, and even if, like, during the run, you're like, I don't fucking know what to do with this, you die, you spawn back on the signpost, it's right fucking there. This item slot is what you press spacebar for, okay? That was all you needed. Until, right before release, I added a lot of items. I added, like, 12, 13, 14, quite a few. I added the majority of the spells and abilities right at the end. And yes, specifically the auras that are abilities on spacebar that reserve mana, those are not explained at all. They just have, like, an incredibly obtuse name, and you're just supposed to, I don't know, I guess figure out on your own what they do. The ones that affect your life and mana are pretty obvious, I guess. You could maybe figure out the one that gives you mana regen by yourself, but probably not. The ones that increase your damage, which are Anger and Hatred, I think are the names of them, you would probably never figure out that's what those do. So I will be adding descriptions to the items. And then I'll work on sound effects, and then I'll work on additional item modifiers, and then I'm probably going to be done with this game. Oh, almost forgot to rename myself. There you go. But yeah, where was I? I was talking about entirely unrelatable problems that only I experience. That's right. Can I just, like, kill you? Yeah. I experimented with making boss HP regen higher, which I think probably wouldn't be the worst thing in the world, but I don't know, it just kind of feels bad. Like, just the way bosses work in the idle section of the game leaves a bad taste in my mouth to begin with. Like, I don't know, there's no real way of doing... There's no good way of doing a boss in an idle game like this. Like, I don't know, you might think to yourself, like, oh, I like the timer they had in Clicker Heroes better. And sure, the timer probably does feel better and explains the situation better than just, you know, you see a boss in front of you and you're not doing any damage to it and you don't know why. But both the timer and the boss HP regen accomplish the same goal the exact same way. Just the way they're, you know, presented to the player is different. But it is, no matter what way you look at it, just you need this much damage to continue, right? I liked the idea of not having a timer just because, you know, you can be just slightly over the HP regen and very, very, very slowly drain their HP bar. Which is something you couldn't do if you just had, like, a hard, strict timer. So I don't know. I think there's pluses and minuses to both ways of doing it, but I landed on HP regen, and I'm sticking with it because, you know, to some degree, it's just like, I've already spent, like, way longer on this game than I ever intended to, and I can't reasonably, outside of, like, fixing things that are obviously broken, I can't reasonably seek to fix things that are not broken, but just not designed great. Because, like, it's, you know, no matter what you do, no matter how hard I would have to redesign the entire fucking game from the ground up if I wanted it to be something I'm actually, like, proud of. And that's not gonna happen. So it's just gonna stay as what it is, and that's fine. I did add some content today just because it was recommended and I thought that I could do it in, like, a few hours time, and I did do it in a few hours time. So, like, short recommendations like that, while I'm still working on the rest of the game, I might throw in, like, tiny little additions like this, if someone comes up with a good enough recommendation. Which this was. This was a decent recommendation. You just, you know, if you want to have, like, an idle set of items and an active set of items, now for, like, a very small cost that eventually, as you get higher in progression, becomes, like, basically free, you can swap in and out between two different items, the one you're equipping and the one you have stored away. So that wasn't that bad. Yeah, I don't know. Bounty below, huh? I mean, I did already talk about it on last stream I don't remember to what degree, but to a degree, I've already talked about it, but I might as well rehash it while I'm actually playing it. Bounty Below, which I've hinted at a few times already. Bounty Below was never intended to be what it is. Like, I expected to be fully done with the game within, like, I was thinking the end of development would take 3 months max. And I was still working on my first Steam release, Chroma Blast, while I started development on Bounty Below, but I had to wait for audio to be finished by my sound effects guy, Nilo, and my friend Jacob, who made the music. Oh wait, I'm supposed to focus. Alright, well, it's fucked. Ruined. I mean, I can just spam craft a bunch of, like, tier 1 items to... Oh, look at that. Legend. Like I said, I can't do rhythm games while I'm talking. And this is a very intense rhythm game you're witnessing right here. I do kind of hate the crafting for items. I don't know. It does its job. It felt better. It definitely feels better than what it used to be. You used to just craft an item and it would fucking bada boom, bada bing, instantly give you the item. There is no crafting minigame whatsoever. For people who are like, I hate the crafting minigame, I kind of understand you. There's not really any depth to it. It does take, like, I mean, depending on how many times you're crafting the same item to, like, farm essence or whatever, it does take a decent amount of time that you'd rather just, you know, it instantly be done, but it does feel better than how it used to feel. I can say that with certainty. But anyways, yeah, what was I saying? Yeah, so I was waiting for sound to be done with Chroma Blast. I started development on Bounty Below, and what I expected to be finished around the same time that I released Chroma Blast. So the plan was, like, as soon as I finished waiting for the sound to be done with Chroma Blast, I would also be done with Bounty Below and, like, ship them at the same fucking time. Clearly that didn't happen. Why? Why didn't that happen, Will? 'Cause I'm a bit of a dumbass at times. I've been known to make some pretty stupid mistakes, and one included is definitely this right here. While I am happy with how dungeons turned out in the end, like, I can't stress enough that if dungeons was like an entirely separate project, and I could have, you know, it would have been a little bit annoying to transfer it to its own project file and all that, but I definitely could have taken the dungeons out of Bounty Below, just shipped Bounty Below by itself, and titled this weird-ass Dungeons as a fucking sequel to Bounty Below, since it does use the same character, and call it a day. And I probably would charge like $5 for the dungeons if it was standalone. The only reason you can play dungeons for free is because it's bundled with the rest of Bounty Below. Otherwise, like, look, it's not a great game. There are definitely, as has been noted, better roguelikes out there. But I don't know. I would say the amount of time I worked on it is worth $5 at the very least. Whether or not it's worth it when people play it is up to them to decide, and fucking refund it later if they decided they didn't like it. But, and the other thing is, I probably would have continued to update the Dungeons mode more if it was standalone. But because it is tied to the entirety of Bounty Below, I can only care about it so much, basically. It's a fucked up situation I placed myself in, but, you know, I am the one who did this to myself. So, I only have myself to blame, I guess. I'm just kind of cruising here. So a lot of people complained about the balance updates I did, which is fair. Like, look, if you were at tier, like, 300 or something absurd, which was totally possible with the way the game was previously balanced, but if you were that far in the game, and then an update comes out that drastically changes the way health scaling works, the way tier scaling works, like how expensive it is to go from one tier up to the next, yeah, you would literally find yourself waking up the next day, you know, possibly excited to be playing Bounty Below, and then when you open up the game, you're like, oh shit, I just can't fucking play anymore. Which, yeah, like, don't get me wrong, I understand that that's a shitty feeling, but at the same time, like, there's no other way to rebalance the game without upsetting a handful of people who, you know, played it day one before the balance patches. You know, it's my own fault for releasing it in such a state that the balance was just, like, completely unacceptable day one. But, I mean, I've already kind of explained my reasoning behind that is just, you know, I thought that it was in a good place. I trusted that if it was in a bad place, I would have known already from the people who had played it on itch, but, you know, I definitely should have done some more testing myself. It's just like so much of the work was on idle. Or on Dungeons, sorry, the opposite. So much of the work was on Dungeons that, like, Dungeons was the only thing I had my mind focused on. And, you know, I was adding content for it, like I said, right up until release. Like, I worked, like, a stupid fucking 20-plus hour workday. Dude, I'm doing great here. This is legendary gameplay. But I worked, like, essentially right up to release. I think I had, like, 5 hours to spare when I made the last content edition. And, what is this one? Pride. That's the HP one, isn't it? Yeah. No, thank you. I probably need to rebalance those as well. Because spending 20 max mana for 10 max life is just eh. Okay, so let's interact with, like, the fun part of the game, why don't we? You know what? No, actually, there's... I mean, oh, look, I'm taking a lot of damage. I should probably... And there you go. Nothing. There's part of me that's like, that shouldn't be allowed to happen. And there's also part of me that's just like, it's kind of fun. Like, if I had re-rolled an item that had 3 modifiers and it goes down to 0, I made that cost, you know? There has to be some risk associated with it. Otherwise, it's just like a completely bland, uninteresting, you always progress upwards kind of mechanic, which is not what I was looking for. People also, like, not a ton of people, but a handful of people were like, it is a bug. It is like bad and broken that the levels can generate in such a way that you can't access things in the level. That's like, I actually spent like a decent amount of work developing so this could happen. Because to me, this is cool. This is what gives the flight item an actual, like, benefit. Like, otherwise, there's literally no difference between holes and walls. Like, I would not have holes if they did not stand a purpose to obstruct a path that can sometimes be unobstructed. Do I want a dash? I mean, I guess it's better than nothing, which is what my current ability is. Did I get... Okay, no. Okay. I'm just stupid. I thought I got 3 chests on this level. I was like, that shouldn't be possible. Fireball is marginally better. Oh, but I can't cast it when I have... You know what? No, fuck that. 10. I don't care about the 10% ore find. I would rather have 3 of these guys out here than cast Fireball, which is just slightly better than Spark. I realize that Spark and Fireball are very similar. I do plan on differentiating them when I add specific modifiers to the items, like items that only Spark can have and items that only Fireball can have. Ooh, nice level. Look, I think that is cool. I think that it's fun that you can go into a level that you literally can't do anything in without flying or teleportation. There is the blink ability. And I was considering buffing Flame Slide slightly, because Flame Slide, I'll admit, is like very nearly identical to Dash. Obviously, you can hold it down instead of just the one tippy tap dash. But they're very similar. So I was considering adding it so that, and I probably will change it so that while you're holding down Flame Slide, you have like temporary flight. Because I think it would be nice if there is more than one item that gives you the benefits of flight. Outside of the modifier, obviously. Okay, life on kill. That's among the best. Although, I don't know. I had a really long run. This is not the first time I'm testing the game, okay? I know it might seem like it because I started fresh today, but no, I've been testing the game since release. I've just also had my save file wiped a bunch while testing, and I could have made a backup, don't get me wrong, but my save file has been wiped a handful of times, so I figured I might as well wipe it again to start the stream today. But I did have a fairly long dungeon run where I probably overvalued life on kill. Life on kill is great, and it's also just, you know, it's on a good weapon. The lightning weapon's not bad, especially with the added mana. But what am I saying? The run I had the other day, I phrased that sentence in a way that made it impossible to continue. I just unlocked myself. The weapon I had the other day was Plasma Whip, which it's a good weapon, but it's a little finicky, and especially on like the later bosses. I had no damage upgrades on it either, so it was just raw damage Plasma Whip. If I had gotten any damage weapon or modifiers, I probably would have been able to continue with it, but because I didn't, I found myself dying. Well, I like nearly died on the water boss. I had like 20 HP going down to the next floor, and then I just instantly got stomped by the enemies in the lava area. Alright, I think I am gonna stick with it, which means I don't want to reroll it. Why do I have Mugen? Am I gonna use Mugen? It's a bit of a meme. Like, Mugen... Because I don't know, I feel like nobody has actually gotten other characters in this game. Maybe I'm wrong. I would love to have achievements. That's, like, one of the saddest things I literally can't put into the game, is I would really like to have achievements for beating the game as each of the dungeons character. If not just because, like, I feel like there's a lot of people who enter the dungeons and don't even realize there's 8 characters. It does say it on the Steam store page, but I would have liked achievements, but I literally cannot add them to the game. Because of, Steam has a limit of 100 achievements. And not sure if you've noticed, but my game has 297 achievements? The only reason that's allowed to happen is because I've been working on this game for like 5 years, and I thankfully had the Steam integration going, when I, basically right when I released the idle part of the game to itch. Like, as soon as I started working on the Steam version of the game, I got all the achievements in. And, yeah. Steam does not take away the achievements that you've already placed, but they, they won't let me add 8 more achievements. So unfortunately, I cannot... Oh, whoops, I should probably summon the thing I plan on using. Unfortunately, I cannot add achievements for beating the game as each character. And you would say, oh, well, if they let you have 297, then just, like, I don't know, remove 8 of the not as important achievements and add the beating the game as every character achievements. Which, I could do if I had done that, like, 5 years ago. But the Steam backend literally does not let you add any more achievements past 100. Like, even if I removed my current achievements, it would just say, okay, well, now you're at 296 over 100, or not over, 196 over 100. So you still can't add anymore, basically. Unless you're under the 100 limit, you're not allowed to add anymore. I explained that in, like, the dumbest fucking way possible, but we got there. Alright, another life on kill item. I should probably just, like, make life on kill a rarer modifier with less tiers, because just having 2 life on kill is pretty huge to the impact of the run. It is up to, while developing the modifier, I was like, if you have a flat 2 life gain on kill, you are going to be unkillable, which probably would have been true, even at the lowest tier, which is +1 to +2. So I had the foresight to make it so it was up to. So you still can kill, like, 10 enemies in a row and get 0 life on kill. No, I will not be rerolling that. Do I want defensive? Double mana regen while above 90? Okay, well, if I'm using Mugen, then I'm never gonna be above 91% mana. I might as well recraft it, and it just gave me the same modifier, but slightly better, and... Wait, actually slightly worse? I forgot that the number being higher is bad there. I feel like... This is the problem with the random chance, dude. I have had multiple divine options, which is what rerolls, like, the statistic of the modifier. I've had multiple divines in a row that haven't given me any change. Now, it is completely possible with random chance that there's only a 5 number, or 6 number variance, I think. I think it goes from 95% to 90%. So there's only 6 outcomes here. It's not entirely unlikely that I rolled into the same 1 in 6 chance. But it does make me wonder if there's something broken with diviners. Anyways, let's progress, because I've gotten ore in the dungeons. The dungeons are maybe... Well, I also have this going constantly. But I don't know. Let me test something. So I'm seeing how much I'm getting from killing these. I had like a... Oh, I forgot I kept this. I forgot what weapon I was using. Yeah, this floor is kind of stinky, the way I handled it. But that's fine. I killed the enemies before the boss showed up, so I'm happy. This weapon is probably too strong as it is. Like, the second charge level is just absurd damage. I do fucking love it, though. Like, this is one of my favorite weapons as far as how it feels to use. The second level of it especially, like, it's so cool to me. Like, you shoot out a delayed, like, very, very fast projectile that, even if it doesn't kill the enemy on contact, it also leaves... Like, it just does so much. It's a slow-moving projectile, shoots out a fast one. If it doesn't kill it with the fast one, it also, like, continues to deal damage after the bullets already hit it. It does, like, 3 extra ticks of damage. Doing the same amount of damage that the first hit did, if I remember correctly. Yeah, fuck it. I'm not using Mugen anyways. Like, I guess I was using the mana regen part of it, but... Do I? No, I probably want to be able to... Oops. I'm very good at this game. I probably want to be able to do the... Oh, I still can't? Oh my god, I forgot I changed. Dude, this is a hungry fucking spell. Or weapon. Have to distinguish between the two. I guess there's no... It's never mentioned in-game that this is a spell and this is ability. That's just what I called them in code. But... Yeah, okay. I forgot I made that 60 cost to get the highest charge level. Well, I still want this. I guess I'm just gonna make one of these, which is kind of pathetic. They really don't do that much damage unless you have a whole bunch of them. But I had to balance, like, it's a kind of hard game to balance with all of the different characters. There was one character in particular I had to take special balance considerations for. Like, I hard-coded it so that one character has some modifiers work differently for it. Just because, like, by default, it was either way too strong or completely unimpactful. The Forgotten character starts with 5,000 max mana, but 0 mana regen, and occasionally when killing enemies, if you're at, like, full HP, you'll always get mana drops instead of life drops. But as your health goes down, those mana drops can be replaced by life drops. For anyone who has played Nuclear Throne, it's the exact same system as Ammunition in Nuclear Throne. Gains 6% of mana cost as added damage, and just 22% increased... Does that... No, it doesn't break the boundary, unfortunately. It's still just 1 damage. Unfortunate. But I did that on purpose. Like, I wanted to do added damage, and there is a source of added damage, but it costs maximum life. I had to be very careful with added damage. Unless I wanted to go, like, super in-depth, like Path of Exile, and make it so that every single weapon has, like, what do they call it? Damage effectiveness stat, so that added damage is lesser on incredibly fast attacking weapons. I could have, but I chose the route that kind of self-balances, which is, the weapons that tend to attack very fast also tend to have very low mana cost. So, there you go. Mana as added damage. But, yeah, what was I talking about? I was talking about the Forgotten. I made it so that, life, or a percentage of your maximum mana is added life. I made it so that that is, I think, 1% as effective, because obviously starting with 5,000 maximum mana, even if you got like 5% of max mana as added life, that's kind of silly. 40% of lost life is increased damage. Pass. Well, actually, that has the potential to actually give me something, as opposed to Flurry, which is currently, despite having 2 decent damage mods, is not actually gaining any damage because it has to reach an integer value. Even if it's 1.9 damage, it is not rounded up to 2. I maybe should make it so that it is, but currently that's not how it works. I mean, I'm not super pleased with those modifiers either, but I should probably get, like, any modifier on my spacebar item. There you go. 4% of max mana is added life, and 2% chance to block 50% of damage. Okay. I understand that those values are particularly low for the low item level modifiers as well, but for the defensive ones, I don't think it matters as much as, like, the, well, that sucks. I actually kind of want that. But nah, I'll pass on it. I think I would rather have, like, 2 of these out now that I've got this weapon. I had someone ask me what this item does, because there's no item descriptions. Obviously, you can visually see that there are fires, but I mean, that's one that if you played around with it enough, you would figure it out, but I also understand just wanting to know what it is immediately, because if you have to make the choice to swap items with another item, and you just have no idea what the other item does, it's a hard ask to be like, just try it out for a few floors. So I get it. But, yeah, what that item does is you spawn fireballs around you, and they block projectiles, which early is not that meaningful, but, well, I guess I did get hit by, like, 3 projectiles there. But especially late game, like, some of the boss attacks, including some of the ones that look like they're melee attacks, programmatically are projectiles and would be blocked by the fire. Actually, I don't think some of them would. I think I've just lied. I think that, yeah, scratch that, because all of the ones that look like they're melee attacks are piercing, so it just shreds through. It would shred through all of your fireballs and also still hit you. Okay, I don't know. Do I want 4 extra life? It's not that impressive. I will take the move speed. I will take the move speed. There's no real reason to annul. Annul! While it does serve a purpose, and this is a good example of a purpose, is like I could get the 50-50 annul chance on Fortunate, because that's not that impactful for my survival. And also, there's a chance that I could just get another crafting outcome. I'll do it, and there you go. I didn't get another crafting item, but I did remove the modifier I wanted to. So, there is that. But in general, annuls are, like, not nearly as powerful as they are in Path of Exile. Which is fine, you know? I got, like, a little bit tilted. Did I just walk into that spike 2 times? I'm pretty sure I did. I got a little bit tilted at, someone left it. Okay, that's much better. What the fuck? Okay. Nobody saw that. I swear I fucking... there must be a typo. Because I definitely have a bit of code that says if you swap this specific item to get rid of its familiars, but I must have typoed it somewhere. Oh well. That's fine. Like, you'll see with this one, if I swap it, its familiar goes away. I did the same line of code for that, but yeah, I guess I, like, spelled its name wrong or something. Doesn't surprise me. But yeah, having one of these is probably more meaningful than having 2 of those. The little wormy guys, the dragon, as I called them. But yeah, what was I saying? I was getting tilted. Someone left, like, a lot of different feedback. But among that feedback, okay, we'll just take the added life here. Yeah. Among their feedback was something that I just don't understand what point they were trying to make at all. Like, if you read the comment and have never played the game, you would be like, oh, I understand what they're getting at. But if you played the fucking game, you would be like, that makes no goddamn sense. They were upset. They said, it is lazy to just use the Path of Exile names for the crafting, you know, whatever you want to call these crafting options. They said it was lazy, because not everybody knows what an Exalted Orb or Chaos Orb is. Which, yeah, if you just read that comment on its own, you might be like, oh, fucking lazy dev, what does he think he's doing? It says millimeters beneath the name exactly what it does. I just don't understand that bit of criticism whatsoever. Maybe a little tilted, as you can tell. Do I care about this? Do I care about Callus? I don't really care about any of these. Fracture. I kind of want to make Fracture more common, just because it's fun. Like, I don't think it's that rare right now. I think it's like a 5% chance, maybe a 4% chance. I want to bump it up, though. Because it's just, yeah, it's just fun to fracture items. And unless you're, like, in tier, or floor, I guess, like 200 of the dungeons, item permanence is probably non-existent. Like, you're still probably swapping out items, like, every few floors, like I am. So, yeah, the Fracture modifier is another one that clearly has less power in this game than it does in Path of Exile. But it's just fun. Like, I feel like, I mean, it's a little confusing. Like, I don't know. I think it describes it decently enough. Fracture is a modifier at random, locking it from change. But I'll admit, like, out of all of the... out of all of the crafting options, this one is probably the most confusing if you haven't played Path of Exile. Not that I'm getting that person any sort of pats on the back for their feedback, because okay, and it sucks. I still disagree with what they said entirely. But yeah, there you go. I basically bricked the item. Because 1% chance of not taking damage is effectively 0% chance of not taking damage. I will be removing this item from my body as soon as is available. Oh, fuck, I'm already on this floor, huh? I should maybe also add a floor counter at the top right corner of the screen, just so that you don't have to, like, either keep track or be very surprised when the boss just shows up. Wouldn't be the worst thing in the world to add. Alright, what are you? 3 mana gain on kill? I don't know. Callus actually did not do something for me there. Never mind. I was gonna say Callus probably helped out. It still didn't... I'm doing the math on this. I am missing how much of my life I'm at... Well, I should do the opposite. I should do 143 minus 67. Then I typoed. 143 minus 67. 76 divided by 1... Well, I should do 143 divided by 76. What am I doing? Divided by 76 is... Nope, I got it right the first time. 76 divided by 143. I'm missing 53% of my life. And that times 0.4 is a 21% damage buff. So 1.21, I mean, the numbers make sense at this point. 1.21 times 3 is 3.63. That is not enough to get 1 extra damage. Fair enough. But, you gotta do the math sometimes. Otherwise, you get it wrong, like I did multiple times there. But it's, you know, you should probably know these things off the top of your head. Not that you should be able to do them in your head, because like, I fucking hate the notion that you should be able to long divide simple numbers, even simple numbers in your head. I mean, like, simple enough, like, yeah, you know, I can do 1 divided by 2 is 0.5, but... Okay, let's look at this. 3 life on kill. Honestly, it's probably doing more for me than Callus is. And this is... No, I don't think that's worth it. And I could craft on this floor with any of these items. I think I'm gonna... I don't want to put any attention on the divinity item, because it, I mean, for one, I'm not even using it. And for two, I ruined it by fracturing that modifier. Ooh. Oh, that's weird. I don't know. I guess it makes sense that it does this, but it is kind of weird. It's highlighting, like, most of the crafting outcomes, like, involve modifying, well, I guess not most of them, but yeah, most of them involve modifying modifiers that already exist on your item. It is kind of weird that Exalt is highlighting Fortunate here, because it's not like the Exalt could ever do anything. But I guess it still kind of makes sense as like a, hey, you know, you could get another modifier like this. Except Fortunate is probably like the worst modifier as like a representative for this color of modifier, the specialized modifiers. Like, I had modifier categories for everything. Obviously, I've got life, I've got mana, I've got damage, I've got defense. And then I think it's just specialized and unique. Specialized was intended to just be for, like, item-specific modifiers. Like, I don't know, if I had... Well, like, the ones that are on Firewheel. The Firewheel actually is the only item that has, legitimate specialized modifiers. There's one that increases the density of the wheel, which is very helpful because the default fire wheel is like basically impossible to shoot. Like if I had shot the fire wheel in this like tight little corner, like all of the projectiles would be gone because they hit the wall. And it also has speed, which is more of a fun modifier than a useful one. It just makes the projectiles spin around faster. But when I was adding the global modifiers, I wanted to add an increased ore find modifier, but I was like, there's literally no category this fits in with my laid out modifier categories, and I'm not gonna make a specific modifier category just for ore find. Look at that. And, you know, it does work. Exalted said it prioritizes giving you a specialized modifier, but because this has no specialized modifiers, it just gave me something random. 8 life gained while descending. That's actually pretty sick. Do I want to risk the annul? Because I'm not super pleased with either of the other modifiers here. 3 life on kill. It's not... Well, it is. It is good. What am I saying? Of course it's good. I think I am going to risk it. And I kept it. Nice. What did I get rid of there? 14 extra mana? That's fine. I can live with it. Okay. Should probably, like, spend and, like, do stuff in the idle section. Just for a little bit. But, you know, this is part of the fun of Bounty Below. If there is a fun to be found, I think it's kind of cool that you can just, like, play another game within the game and then take breaks to tune in to what's going on in the idle section. I think, like, rich rocks are just better than chests. Like, I think they're just better. If I remember correctly, rich rocks give you gold. I said that like I was super confident with it in the Discord. I'm pretty sure they do. Like, if I remember what they look like, I'm pretty sure it's like a rock, except the entire rock is the color of the ore, and then, like, the ore veiny bits are gold. So I'm pretty sure they drop gold. And I think they're just better than chests, because it's easy to craft an item. I do think that the chest can give you, like, a fairly substantial, like, tier advantage compared to, like, items you can normally craft. I didn't pay attention to the perfect bonus at all. But that's okay, I'm going to be crafting a handful of items here, so I still have a chance at redemption. It is, like, a massive benefit, though. Like, if I remember correctly, I'm pretty sure the benefit you get from... Like, if you have no other sources of increased ore find, which I think is impossible by this point, because of achievements, right? Yeah, I already have some ore find. But, regardless, I'm pretty sure the achievement you get for a perfect craft is 200% ore find, which is insane. So I would like to get that. Am I at the point where I should swap out pebbles already? I don't think so. I'm not necessarily convinced that that it's time for generator. Generator's pretty weak early on. So I'm gonna focus this time. Fuck. Doesn't matter anymore. I haven't spent my pure ore yet. Am I gonna spend my pure ore to make crafting easier? So that I can actually get this. Did I remove that one? I can't even remember. No, that's kind of a huge benefit. Never mind, it actually did like nearly nothing. Though I guess I don't have that many water. Yeah, that's still doing like a decent amount of damage there. I should upgrade it so that it is doing even more damage. But yeah, do I still have that upgrade that makes it slower? Lowers item cost, raises perfect craft bonus. No, I don't. Well, I guess lowering the cost. No, that's not true at all. I think I just balanced it in such a way that the speed of crafting never gets, like, insane. Like, it's slow enough of an increase per tier that, like, you probably wouldn't even notice. Unless you ascend and get reset to nothing and craft, like, a tier 1 item, and you're like, this is markedly slower than it was at, like, tier 150, but it does speed up the higher the tier of the item. What am I doing? I don't want to craft rocks again. I'm kind of considering getting the generator, because I'm not satisfied with those results. It's giving me 21 base damage. That's not bad. Although, it's not great. It's like having another drill. What do I care about having another drill? I don't think I care at all, actually. I'm immediately throwing away the item I just crafted. You love to see it. Fuck, dude. He was psyching me out, man. You can't give a man that many single notes. No breaks, no double notes. It was fucking with me. Alright. That's fine. Did that actually give me... I don't think that gave me more damage than I lost. But maybe it did. I wasn't really paying attention to the numbers. It's fine, whatever. Whatever happens, happens. Let's get drill. Well, you know what? Fuck it. I'm gonna do it again. I'm going back. I'm going back, dude. Give me rocks again. Because I forget how good... Immediately fucked it. I forgot how good the drill water upgrade is. Like, I just, you know, the tier 1 is probably the one you want to go with always. But, I don't know. Maybe it's a substantial upgrade. Maybe. Let's find out together. It's actually been so fucking long since I worked on this, you know? Like, outside of the balance changes I've been doing recently, like, I have not touched this side of the game in, like, 5 years. In the original Old English. Yes, I will make a reservoir. It's funny, like, I have... I mean, is this funny, or is it sad? I have, Oh, I should focus, never mind. I have art assets for, like, all of these items at the different tiers. There's a different art asset at tier 50 and 100. And different names and descriptions for them as well. But, a lot of the items are, like, for the units, whatever the alternative unit trinket is, like, always the best in slot before you would ever reach tier 50 or tier 100. So, like, I feel like it would not surprise me if, like, there were some art assets that just never saw the light of day, because, because why would you ever fucking craft them, other than, like, specifically to see those? Alright, water damage plus 2.397% per drill. You know, it's something. It's not nothing. It's not amazing. But hey. I could hold my hat on that or something. Someone can think of an idiom to place there. Alright. Yeah, I think that's about... Well, I should probably upgrade my tiers. You know. It's important or something. It also does, like, it does increase the amount of ore you get from dungeons. Like, dungeon ore is not a flat rate based on how deep you are in the dungeon. That would be awful. So look at Yeah, for all the people who are like, hey, I wish that Bounty Below had more cross-play, like more interconnectedness between the dungeons and the idle part of the game. Have I told you? Have I told you that the ore you get in dungeons is based on how much ore you're making in the idle part of the game? Not that that really matters that much, because it's not like you can use the ore on anything in the dungeons, which people don't like. Like, I don't know, I've seen multiple people use that as a complaint against the game. Like, the entire point of dungeons, to me, was that I wanted it to be something fun aside from the rest of Bounty Below. And I also just hate permanent upgrades and roguelikes. Like, I'm not gonna lie, that's probably a large factor of it. I could have had unlocks for variety. Like, I could have, you know, let's say that, like, Fire Surge is a locked item that you have to unlock on, like, the Tree of Life somewhere. I coulda. I definitely coulda, but I didn't wanna. I wanted it so that if you really fucking enjoyed the Dungeons mode of Bounty Below, you could just fucking play that bitch till the day you die without ever touching the idle part. And I think I landed there. To some people's dismay, that really like permanent upgrades and roguelikes, I guess. This fucking little wisp guy had, like, some serious balance changes done to it right before release, because it was just way too overpowered. Ooh, don't mind if I do. Okay, probably, like, the worst I could have gotten from that, but that's fine. That's fine. What do you do? 10% chance to block half a damage taken. That's pretty huge. Yeah. I mean, 29 life is also pretty huge, but 6 life, and if I get added mana at some point, part of that will also give me added life. Yeah, the Wisp used to be insanely strong, and even if you just had one Wisp, it would just, like, laser beam down every single fucking enemy in the area. So I lowered its accuracy, and I made it so that I think it has, like, about the same fire rate, but there's a variance to it. So sometimes it's slower, sometimes it's faster, but on average it's about the same. It just, like, feels better. Like, it looks more interesting if it's shooting at, like, a somewhat sporadic pace. And what else did I do to it? Yeah, I also, like nearly halved the damage. I think it's 3 instead of 5 damage, but I effectively halved it. Yeah, thank you. Make a pathway for me. Appreciate it. Thank you very much. Alright, now this is something worth looking at. Yes, it has literally no modifiers on it. But think of the potential. It's item level 24. When it does get modifiers, they're gonna be schmackin', dude. Probably not. I can also cast it while still having a Wisp. Although it is very slow fire rate as a result of having to fully charge my mana. I mean, I don't have to fully charge it. I could just spam it, but... like, you know, where's the fun in that? Where's the fun if I can't have, like, a massive fucking sword slash that covers nearly half the entire screen? Let's see. How big is it? Yeah, it is, like, half of the screen. It's pretty big. Lowers mana cost? Not bad. Not bad. I can't risk it, dude. I didn't even realize I got this modifier. When the fuck did I get this modifier? Has this always been here? That's pretty good. 20% of hits negated, so long as I don't take another hit while it's regenerating. He's fucking done it! Let's go. He's absolutely done it. So, like, this part of divining works. It still checks to make sure it's not perfectly rolled. That's, like, nearly perfectly rolled. And that can't be rolled. Okay. Well, there you go. I just made that objectively worse. Awesome. Look at that. 5 mana to spare, dude. I'm fucking swimming in it. Absolutely swimming in it. I wish I had a different... Like, even though I, you know, obviously just holding on to the dash is giving me... Oop, thank you for saving me there. Didn't even see that projectile. Obviously, just holding on to the dash is this worth it? Not worth it. Not worth it at all. Not at all. I really thought I could go through those spikes a little bit faster. What am I saying? Yeah, holding on to this is giving me the 10%, but I'm, like, never fucking using the dash. Because, yeah, you know, it's not that good. It's not that good. What is this? Oh, this is a weapon? Oh, this is music? I love music. I love this. Yeah! I was afraid of that one. It's okay. Just never get hit again, and you'll be alright. Just take advantage of the fact that I never implemented hit detection, or like good hit detection on this weapon, and you're right as rain. I probably should. I probably should make it so that you have to like you have to be within vision of the enemy to hit it with a melee weapon like this. That's not that big of a change. I could do that. It might feel awkward at, like, corners, though. I could also make it so that if you're within, like, a certain distance of the enemy, it bypasses the need to check for wall collision. Sorry, I'm a fucking nerd, dude. I'm a fucking nerd. I admit it. You caught me. Who would have thought? I got nothing to talk about, dude. I've said my piece. I've said more or less everything I needed to about Bounty Below. That's not true. I could go on for hours about meaningless minutia, but you know, someone said that that the minor golems have too much HP. They were talking about the minor golems. These dudes, as if they had an absolutely absurd amount of HP. If only they knew. If only they knew it's the exact same amount of HP as the slimes on the first fucking area. Oh, baby. It's hard. Like, that's, you know, that's one of the difficult parts of game dev they don't tell you about. This is how wow, that was really good damage. It's how difficult it is to not snap back when someone's being a bit of a dunce. But, you know, that's fine. I'll use the stream as a vent, and, you know, if the person who I'm calling out watches the stream ever in the future, then, you know, they can they can be offended and leave if they want to, but this is my venting place. Oh, yeah. Okay. Well, all things considered, it was kind of an absolutely abysmal dungeon run. I went so fucking slowly too. If I do another dungeon run, I'm gonna pick up the pace, because that was pretty bad. Alright. What happened to my damage? Why don't I do damage anymore? Is it because I haven't been paying any attention to the idle section of the game, and as a result have not upgraded many units that I can do for basically free? Is that why? I also have 2 unspent pure ore. Alright, I think the biggest ones are... I'm waiting for someone to call me out on these upgrades. I'm surprised nobody has yet. These have meaning, believe it or not. This has some amount of meaning. These are pointless. Like, well, I don't know. This one kind of effectively acts as a combination of all 4 of these. Because if it's cheaper to craft items, that means it takes less ore to craft tiers higher than where you're at. And I think, well, actually, I mean, if you're really good at the crafting minigame, I think this is probably the best out of all of them. Because if I remember the way it works, it doesn't sound impressive, which is probably why nobody has ever picked it. But I think the way it works is when doing the crafting minigame. Maybe I'm wrong about this. If I am wrong, it just raises the highest tier you can craft from 5 tiers higher than what you paid to. Wait, was that sentence correctly structured at all? It either changes it from 5 levels above the amount you paid for, or... Wait. No, I just can't speak English. This is a kind of hard sentence to piece together. It either changes it from 5 tiers higher than what you paid for to 6 tiers higher than what you paid for, or it changes it to 10 tiers higher than you paid for. I really hope it's the second option, because otherwise there's good reason nobody's ever picked it. But anyways, I'm going to continue the trend of not picking it, because these are just, like, significantly better. These 3 are by far the best. This one especially, like, for people who find themselves that they can't progress in the higher tiers than they used to, I recommend, instead of spending on this and this, especially if you've already ascended, like, a handful of times, this and this are significantly less meaningful. Go for this, maybe. Go for this one. Having a rock that's, I think it maxes out at 25%, but having a rock that's 25% less healthy is pretty big. Hey, I have Discord messages. Let's peep it. This is the Will checks his fucking Discord and sees what people are talking about part of the stream. Yes, sub-item of Universal Gateway. I think that's a buff to all 3 of the magic units. There you go. Responded as timely as ever. I am by far the most active person on my own Discord. Oh, that's weird. What the fuck? How is that legal? How is that allowed? The game is still rendering? I fucking swear I specifically selected the option in Unity to not render while minimized. But I'm looking at OBS right now, and clearly it's still rendering. But maybe, I don't know, just maybe the way OBS works, and maybe the way that option in Unity works, makes it so that it counts as still being open. I don't know. At least as far as rendering goes, but anyways. Not important. What am I talking about? Fucking unprofessional bullshit. Let's see. I actually completely fucking lost the plot. I was upgrading. That's right. I was getting the ore upgrade and the damage upgrade. But yeah, I can't remember exactly if the eternal upgrades for damage are multiplicative with the ones you get on the tree here, or from other sources, like achievements. I think it's just additive. So if you look at, like, this upgrade over here, this one raises ore find by 100%. It's like, spending your pure orbs on this seems a lot less like a good idea after you've ascended a few times. Maybe it's multiplicative. I don't remember. I genuinely don't. But, I mean, I could check. I'm not gonna do it right now. I'm not gonna fucking boot up Unity and check my code. No thank you. I fucking long for the days where I never have to boot up Unity again. That's not true. It's kind of true. I'm like half hoping a better alternative to Unity for 3D games. Well, I guess there was like that game jam Terry Kavanaugh did not that long ago. Godot, is that it? The other, I don't want to say Unity-esque, but it's a, you know, it's a modern game engine that has like a a built-in interface and asset importer, as far as I'm aware. It's like a lot of quality of life features, and it's supposed to be very generic so that you can use it with all kinds of games. I don't know how good the 3D support for that game engine is, but you know, if it's comparable to Unity, I might consider it. Though, I don't know, I've also already got, like, my fucking permanent Unity license. I might as well take advantage of it. Point is, until I make a 3D game, which might happen in the future, I am never gonna touch Unity again. There's a lot of reasons for that I don't need to go into all of them. But, yeah, I don't know, Unity just kind of blows in a lot of ways. And I just despise the way they sell it now. Like, I just completely disagree with the exclusively as a subscription-based model. I mean, it is free, but, like, the subscription-based, at least the last time I checked, the subscription-based model is very expensive. And the way they get away with that is by making it free to use until you make a project that earns like a set amount of income. I don't even think it's profit. I think it's just like, have you sold this much? And if the answer is yes, wow, I can buy a lot more of these than I thought I was able to. If the answer is yes, then you are forced to, like, I don't know how they do it, but, like, I don't know, I think you can get into legal trouble if you don't. They kind of force your hand, and you have to buy the license for it. Which, you know, they do have to make money somehow, I guess. But capitalism, baby. Capitalism, baby! Yeah! Anyone else? DAE capitalism? Yeah. I hate it. It's basically what I'm saying. They get away with disgustingly high prices because of the fact that they market it as a free game engine. Which, if you care about using it to a professional capacity, I can't really recommend using Unity. But I don't know, to each their own. You know, you can look at the prices yourself and you're like, I don't know, the subscription service is completely affordable for me. I could do that easily, then go ahead. But I also don't know how much better Unity has gotten since I do have, like, a permanent license that, is only on, like, a completely outdated version of Unity. I have the last of the 5-point whatever cycle of development. So, who knows? Maybe Unity is actually worth the price now? But, for me, even as someone who doesn't have to pay for Unity anymore, I just can't see myself wanting to use the version of Unity I have, unless I need to make a 3D game for whatever reason in the future. I'm just fucking scrolling here while I talk. I mean, I basically treat my stream as a podcast anyways. Like, that's kind of why I like it, you know? Like, let's look. I'm gonna unveil. Yeah, dude, let's go. Oh, that's the best thing I could have seen. I fucking unveiled the numbers to see that I am streaming to no one. Oh, this feels right at home. But yeah, I don't know. I was basically just gonna say I'm glad no one's fucking chatted, which is mean. Like, I do like it. Like, Katie is great. Katie shows up occasionally and is always incredibly nice. Nicholas is also a great chatter. You get a lot of people who will just show up in your stream, especially people who, I mean, even people who are following will just show up in your stream and just fucking say the most asinine shit. Like, it'll have absolutely nothing to do with what you're talking about, with what game you're playing. They just go off on you. So, not every chatting experience is great, but I do appreciate the good ones. That being said, I don't know, it is comforting to fucking not have to worry about that part of streaming. Like, it's something I definitely don't envy. Like, the chat interaction part, I mean, yeah, it's easy to say that when it's, you know, not something I'm good at, right? Like, obviously, if I got more practice with it, I'm sure I probably wouldn't mind chat interaction at all. It would just be something, you know, I get used to, and that's just part of streaming. But I am happy I'm where I'm at right now, which is, you know, great that I can say that when previously I was kind of like crushed by the fact that I was streaming to 0 viewers day in and day out. I'm glad that I can now say I'm happy with it, and I realize, I think it comes with that realization that streaming would be a very different experience, even if I had like 20 average viewers. I would say in like the 10 to 20 range is where you start getting people who regularly chat. Not that it won't go silent at times, even with that number of people, but 10 to 20 seems like the realm where you should expect a chat message at least like once every 10 minutes. Whereas lower than 10, you could be lower than 10 viewers and still never get a chat message the entire stream. Not that there's anything wrong with it. Like I said, I'm talking about the fact that I enjoy that right now. Sorry. I'm getting distracted because I keep seeing messages on the Discord. Let's peep it, dude. Discord answering time. Hello. I'm not sure if this is a bug or not, but I bought 3 times gilded units, and yet if I sum up all the numbers in the gilded page, I count 7. Shouldn't that be 9? No. Well, I mean, depends, is the answer. If you've unlocked... Wait, what are they saying here? I think I know what they're saying. If you've unlocked all of the units, then yeah, that's a bug. If there are still some units you haven't seen, then it's fairly likely the guilds went to those units. Dude, it's actually surprisingly hard to type. I'm like typoing all over the place while talking. You would think it would be easy, but yeah, it's likely the guilds went to those units, which don't show up in that page until unlocked. There you go. I always read through. I'm a very paranoid, fucking anxious guy. I always read through every message I send publicly like 10 times to make sure I didn't spell a word wrong. Nobody wants to be the guy who's got for word wrong. Alright. Send. Fucking send, dude. Another day saved. All in a day's work for a legendary game developer / streamer such as myself. This is a weird fucking stream. I kind of like the atmosphere, though. I was really nervous towards the start, and I'm sure that shows. Like, if you're watching this on fucking YouTube for whatever reason in the future, mark your timestamp at whatever part in the video you're at and rewind back to the start of the VOD and laugh at how fucking clearly anxious I was. But I'm good now. These highly radioactive isotopes lower the starting health of rocks. That's pretty good. Sorry, I didn't do it in the meme voice. I might as well progress. No sense not to. And then sure, am I satisfied with a tier 28? No, I can work for it. Come on, put your back into it. Oh, cat woke up. My bad. I have been a little bit loud. I'm sorry. That's just, you know, kind of the nature of streaming. Is you gotta pog up, dude. You gotta be one of the hypest broadcasters on this website. Can I get some pog champs in chat, gamers? I kind of hate... Am I gonna shit on Twitch? Like, look, you know, Twitch has its upsides. I do kind of hate the atmosphere of Twitch. And obviously, I'm not pleased as Peach that it's associated with Amazon whatsoever. But, what can you do? What can you do? I fucking... Oh, can I... Yeah. You know, I go off on advertisements plenty. That I don't need to make up excuses to go off on advertisements. But, like... I know why it is how it is. Twitch gives you just an absurd number of advertisements on mobile because of people with ad block on PC. They want to make that ad revenue somewhere. And I fucked it. So they just throw it all into the fucking mobile viewers, which, as a guy who likes to watch streams while he's cooking and, like, eating food later in the night, is just, like, the absolute worst viewing experience. Like, I would stop slightly shy of saying it's as bad as, like, watching a sports game on TV. I don't think it's quite that bad. But at least with sports, like, they schedule advertisements mostly in places where it makes sense. Like, you're not going to get an advertisement during a live play or anything. So there's that. I guess the nature of watching a stream VOD, though, is, by the way, I should have mentioned that I watch VODs. I very rarely watch people live. Obviously, if you're watching people live, you're only going to get the advertisements at the start and whenever they push ads to you. What am I doing? Yeah, sure. Seems good. I can't fucking focus on this game and talk at the same time. This is why, like, I don't know. While it is extremely hard to stream games, like, well, I shouldn't say extremely hard. It's not like, woe is me, look at the streamer suffering. But it is significantly harder to stream something like Pogo Stuck or The End Is Nigh, or not that I ever plan on it, but Jump King. Since I made fun of Ludwig, I should probably bring that one up again. Where am I going with this? Yeah, basically, if there's no good reason to talk about the game at all, which there probably is for this game, like, if I wasn't the developer, I'm sure I could find plenty of things to talk about with this game. I mean, I did while I was doing the dungeons, but, I mean, as for the rest of this, I mean, it's an idle game, you know? I would love to say that it's, self-explanatory, but obviously that's not the case when like, the #1 feedback I get from people is, like, this game needs more tooltips. I have no idea what I'm doing, which is fine. It probably could use a few. That's why I made it so that, this specifically tells you what button you need to press for those. Maybe I'm crazy. Alright? Let me be crazy for a little bit here. If you already know that the main weapon uses left mouse button, would it not be self-explanatory that the thing called sub-weapon would use the other prominent mouse button? Maybe not. Obviously not, I guess, because I still got tons of people being like, I have no idea how to use sub-weapons, but... Sorry. Choking. Sorry, got distracted by another Discord message. Maybe it's that, then. Highest I've gotten so far is the Grand Magus. In the previous run, even then I noticed I had 5 gilded units when I should have gotten 6. That means the very last one that cost like 10 sextillion should have one. There's also 5. Wait. No. They think that the upgrade past Grand Magus is a unit. There's 5 other than the Grand Magus left. There you go. Solving a fucking problem a day. That's just the kind of legend I am. Sorry. Oh, man. Fucking choke again, streamer. Way more entertaining than you patting yourself on the back profusely. Oh, I should get my chat back up in case anybody ever does say anything. Like, choke again, streamer. Alright. Yeah, okay. I wanted to craft trinkets, and, is there any sub-weapon I got that was worth it? I got bomb, bow, and genuinely don't even remember what the ring is. I think it's a trinket. Nope, that's lucky coin. Sub-weapon? Sub-weapon! Brings power to your main weapon. Yeah, this is one... Wait, do you have to... I don't remember if you actually have to hold right mouse button for this, or if... No, because it's pure green, so it should be a completely passive effect, I think. It's been so long since I made these. I feel bad when people ask me questions about, like, hey, how does this work? Like, I try and answer it the best I can, but... I honestly, I just forget a lot of the stuff and how it works. I can't remember if I'm just not gonna say it, because if I have already talked about it on stream, then I'm gonna embarrass myself, but now that I've mentioned it, I have to bring it up. I don't think I talked about it on stream. I don't think that was one of the, check the Discord moments of the stream. Yeah, there you go. That's good. We take those. Right? Like, I don't have to... Wait, do I have to? No, that's because of the drone. I saw 131, and I was like... Yeah, no, it's always active. Here you go. Yeah, I think it was something I answered in Discord before I started stream. Was, someone asked me, like, what a specific item effect does, and I was like, honestly, I don't remember what item you're talking about, or what it does, really. But I gave them a plausible answer, and I'm pretty sure the plausible answer is right. So I got that going for me. Okay. I'm embracing the I'm not fucking doing anything side of me playing this game. Oh, never mind. Got excited. Yeah, I don't want to fucking actively mine rocks. Are you insane? Are you unhinged? I do kind of fucking... I do kind of hate that, like, even though I have no reason to focus on it because I already messed up the minigame, it's still taking way too much of my attention because, I want a good item. Of course I'm gonna focus. I want a cool, good item. That was fucking tier 41? How much did I spend on that? What the fuck? Ooh, ore find. I forgot I had that item. This is what I'm talking about. I didn't know I had a trinket that gave you ore find. Is that better than max life? Probably. Yeah, damn, I have like way more ore than I know what to do with. Huh. Alright, focus. Immediately. It just, I don't know. I feel like getting the perfect craft, you just have to like slam out a bunch of tier 1 items and hope you get it. It's not like absurdly difficult when it speeds up, but you know, it definitely, especially when you're bad like I am, lowers your chances. Someone said that I should make it so that the, since I saw the unit crit thing here. Oh, though that's for me, not for units. But I saw the crit gem. Someone was like, you should make it so that unit crits, like, the timer is paused whenever you're crafting. I will not. I didn't say that. I said, I will take everything you said into consideration like a good, kind-hearted developer. But, what I meant by that was most of what you said I find entirely unusable, and I will continue to be a bad developer that doesn't listen to what people want. Does that sound good? Sounds good to me. Because I'm fucking lazy as hell. Alright, so that seems good. Discord message, Discord check. Is this what I'm gonna do on, like, every fucking stream now? Yeah. I guess so. I guess this is my new life. Is, just fucking checking Discord messages while I stream. I got nothing better to do. It's not like I've got anything worth talking about on my own. Which is why I said, like, you know, it is difficult to stream games where there's nothing to talk about as far as the game goes. I guess I could talk about what I've been doing, though. I do have topics. Cassidy and I, well, what did we watch before Tokyo Ghoul? We're watching Tokyo Ghoul now. Her suggestion. Not that it's a bad suggestion. I actually really like Season 1. Season 2? Not sure yet. We watched like 1.5 episodes. We watched something. I'm pretty sure it was awful right before Tokyo Ghoul. But maybe I'm completely wrong. I know, like, the last one I remember before Tokyo Ghoul is Nichijou, which is great, and I loved it. What do we fucking watch in between? Oh yeah, that's why it's so unmemorable, is because we fucking gave up on it. We didn't even finish it. We got like 6 episodes into Assassination Classroom, or Ensatsu Kyoshitsu. Wait, Kyo? Yeah, it's Kyoshitsu. I got it right. My pronunciation is probably awful, but I actually know those kanji, so I get to flex a little bit. Fucking, it was awful though. Like, I think it's the most I've been disappointed with a highly reviewed anime. Like, look, there aren't tons, well, that's not even true. I was gonna say there aren't tons of animes that, like, completely break the like, niches and, what's the word I'm looking for? Tropes? There you go. But Assassination Classroom has to be, like, by far the tropiest anime. And maybe we didn't watch long enough. You know, it has to be positively reviewed for some reason. Maybe it actually breaks those expectations at some point, and you're like, wow, hee hee ha ha. We thought we were watching this kind of anime, but they flipped it on us. I have no idea what to expect now. Maybe, you know, it's totally possible. One of the first fucking animes I've ever watched was, Katekyo Hitman Reborn, which is not a good anime. Like, I can't in good conscience recommend that to anybody, because, like, even when it gets good, it's still not very good. I think there's, like, there could be something good to it. Like, I don't know, the story's not great either. I mean, there's not much redeemable about it, other than, like, I feel like most people who watch it to completion end up having, like, it might be Stockholm Syndrome. I'm not gonna say it's not Stockholm Syndrome, but some level of, like, I actually kind of like it now. Maybe it's just, like, the relief of it finally being over is, like, you know, thank God that's done with. I guess I can watch something good now. It's not horrible. I'm actually doing nothing in the game. It's not horrible. But I will say, unless you like that, and I don't, I really hate it. Unless you like that goofy kind of nothing matters, it's very zany, wacky, slice of life style anime. It's not very funny, you know? But it tries to be, I guess, at moments. Unless you really like that, you would probably, at best, find Reborn as, like, okay. And even that is saying something. Because it's just, you know, here you go. Am I going to do it? I think I am. I think I'm going to compare Katekyo Hitman Reborn to Bounty Below, which is, look, I have to tie in the stream to the game I'm playing at some point, right? It is to say that a lot of Reborn is, like, incredibly mundane, unfunny, boring slice-of-life stuff. It's not even particularly good at that. Like, Nichijou is... I mean... I hate to call it a slice-of-life anime, even though it is. Like, I mean... What isn't the fucking title, like, directly translated to, like, Ordinary Day or something? I don't know what the Joe part of Nichijou is, but... They say, like, fucking Ordinary Day, I think. It's at somewhere in the title or opening screen, I don't remember. But, yeah. I think it is. It's the same thing, like, my girlfriend got mad at me when I said, like, Hereditary is a good movie. It's not just a good horror movie. And she saw that as, like, taking away from the fact that it is a good movie in the horror genre. Which I don't mean it as such. Like, I still think that, like, Hereditary is a great fucking movie. And if the reason I have to phrase it like that is because I hate, like, nearly all horror movies. I don't think that any of them do anything interesting. Even the ones that do try and do something interesting, I still... Like, we watched Lake Mungo, which was, I mean, it's... I hate to call it mockumentary style, though it kind of is. Like, it is a fake documentary. And so is, yeah, to some degree, so is Noroi. Both of those are surprisingly mockumentaries when I think about it. But, yeah, they try and do things a little bit different. It's hard to say which I liked more between Noroi and Lake Mungo. I think they're both okay. I didn't dislike them as much as I dislike your average copy-paste the exact same plot and fucking story beats as every other shitty horror movie. But, yeah, I don't know. They didn't grab me too much. Hereditary is just an amazing movie. In the same way, I'm bringing it back, that Nichijou is just an amazing slice-of-life anime. And I would say it's just a good anime. Outside of the slice-of-life genre, the same way I would say Hereditary is a good movie outside of the horror movie genre. Okay, we got there. Now, let's talk about how Reborn is somehow the Bounty Below of animes. Because they, for like, and you know, I'm speaking about everything in terms of the anime, not the manga. I have no idea if the Reborn manga is any better. I think I read, like, the first 5 chapters of it ages ago. And then I just decided to watch the anime and was like, yeah, good enough. Maybe the manga does it better. I don't know. There were, like, some very obvious changes they made. Like, fucking Goku Dara has self-igniting dynamite instead of smoking. Like, yeah, we can't put fucking cigarettes on TV. Are you insane? So, I don't doubt that the anime is probably significantly toned down than the manga. Like, I'm pretty sure, like, the first time Tsuna gets shot with, like, the cool bullets, he, like, literally dies, and there's, like, blood everywhere spewing out of his head. That does not happen in the anime. And they don't even, like, from what I remember, no, they do the him getting shot quite a bit. What am I saying? It's been a while since I watched it. I have watched the anime, like, 3 times in my life, though. For an anime, this is what I'm talking about. Like, oh, what the, oh, fuck. I thought I just saw a bug. I was like, why isn't it showing the damage? Why does it say nothing? It's because I was just hovering over the trinket. This is a bugless stream. We will not encounter any bugs on the stream. Thank God. I'm pretty sure I got rid of most of them, honestly. I did a pretty thorough job of bug testing before release. Like, obviously, there's no way I could have known there was gonna be that day one I can't even buy upgrades bug. Because, like, I think it's like I didn't ask the people who had the bug, but it must be like a Linux exclusive or Mac exclusive, because that would also make sense as to why the itch player base never caught that one, just because, like, already the amount of people who play games on Linux and Mac is fairly low, and the fact that not that many people played the itch version of the game, it makes sense that it could have slipped by that way. But, like, I have no other explanation for why I could not repeat that bug. Like, I have no idea. The bug does not make sense in code at all. There's no reason why 0 would ever be a higher number than 0. But, yeah, I guess I should explain what the bug was. Basically, like an upgrade like this, it costs 1 billion of the blue ore. And 0 of the red, yellow, and green. It's most notable for the very first upgrade you get, when you probably do have 0 of red, green, and blue. You've just broken like a few rocks, you've got enough ore for the water upgrade, you're ready to buy it, but it says you don't have enough 0. Like the 0 for someone sent me a screenshot, they had green ore, and that showed up as green. They had like 11 out of 0, and they were like, yep, good to go. But they had 0 of the red and yellow, and they were redded out. The 0 was redded out in the upgrade, indicating that they did not have enough 0. So I just kind of brute force fixed it and made it so that it no longer checks and makes sure that one number is higher than the other. It just says, hey, if you're buying an upgrade that costs 0, it's always available. No check required. And that fixed it, so. Okay, getting sidetracked. I'm going to talk about how Reborn is the bounty below of anime. Don't worry. Yeah, so I don't know. The manga is probably better, don't get me wrong. And in general, I would say most of the time, the manga is typically better than an anime. Like, I don't read manga. Like, I'm not a manga elitist or anything. But, you know, I know there's plenty of examples where animes completely ruin storylines. Like, not that I think Naruto is good to begin with, but, like, if you were watching, like, the original run of the original series for Naruto, and you just didn't know that, like, there's 100 episodes past episode 200 that have, like, no meaning to the story whatsoever, and you're just, like, watching it on a weekly basis being like, oh, this is kind of shit now. Or maybe you just, like, tuned in and you've never seen Naruto, but you heard that people like it, and, like, your first experience with it is a filler episode. I can see why anime gets a bad name sometimes. But again, I fucking, yeah. I don't like Naruto anyways. Because, I mean, there are good moments in the original, namely Gaara versus Rock Lee in the Chunin. I guess the last fight with Sasuke was well animated, at the very least. You know, it's a fun thing to watch. Shippuden, I'm getting so fucking sidetracked here. But, Shippuden, and I'm pretty sure I've talked about this at length on stream before, but whatever, dude. I'm fucking going at it. It really falls apart, like, very quickly towards the end. You've got, like, I might even say and this is probably controversial, and I probably don't even agree with it, but I wouldn't be surprised if there are people who passed the first arc where Sakura, sorry, I know, embarrassing. The guy learns like a little bit of Japanese and then he has to pronounce everything correctly. Although I'm still probably not getting the tonal parts of the words right. But that's aside the point. You can fucking yell at me all you want at the difference of ame and ame. I'm not good at that. I do know that, like, there are some tonal things that I understand, like, when you have, what is it called? Like, I forget the exact, I think there's terminology for it, but when you have repeated kanji, like, I know there's a special name for the symbol, which I also forgot, but it's not just when you have repeated kanji. It's just, I don't know, don't, like, 4-syllable words typically go like low, high, high, low as far as the syllables go? Like hitobito, I think. Anyways, that's what I've seen in my experience. Yeah, sidetracked. It's impossible for me to keep like a narrow mission in conversation, which is probably good for the sake of streaming and not running out of things to say, but probably frustrating if you want to actually hear the end result of what I'm talking about. I've been talking about how Katekyo Hitman Reborn is the Bounty Below of animes for like 40 minutes, and like 35 of those minutes aren't even talking about it. Oh man. Okay. Let's get back to it, boys. Where did I even leave off? I got sidetracked by Naruto. Oh yeah, I'm not done with Naruto. Let's finish that. I would probably say the best part of Naruto is Naruto v Pain / Nagato is his real name, I think. But it also, look, okay, it's good up until the point where they start talking. It actually, like, I would say that while they're fighting, that is, like, the height of Naruto. And if you want, like, as soon as Naruto finds, like, Nagato's real body, just fucking, like, cut it there. Stop watching. And you can just make up your own story for what Naruto does. You can have, like, these sick fantasies of him, like, decapitating him. Hitting him with a Rasengan. But, whatever you do, don't watch the actual result of that, because it just it fucking ruins the entire thing. Like, it actually does for me. It sucks so fucking bad that, like, there are these moments of consequence, and you're like, and spoilers, by the way. There are these moments of consequence, and you're like, oh shit, they're really fucking going for it now. And then as soon as they start talking, and it doesn't even make sense as to why Nagato decides to just be a good boy now, all consequences are removed. Like, the fucking Hidden Leaf Village is still destroyed, I think, but no one's dead. And those are the only, like, real consequences you can have in anime, more or less. Character progression never happens, which is why I like Tokyo Ghoul so much. At least season 1. I don't know, season 2 seems kind of so far. But that's probably where I would say the peak of Naruto was. I think there are moments of goodness after that. There is a character death that you might have some feelings for. But I don't know, in the whole scheme of things, the next character death that happens, I'm pretty sure it's the next one, is especially in the anime, maybe it's a more prominent character in the manga. Like I said, everything I'm saying is from an anime experience. The next character death that happens, it didn't get me. I'll say that for sure. I wasn't affected by it at all. But, it also felt, like, very forced. Like, character that Naruto has basically never interacted with whatsoever. All of a sudden, he's gonna get, like, some huge, like, training power up from them. And then they, like, die instantly afterwards. I mean, you know, Shikamaru's fucking bury a dude in a hole and let him rot there for eternity. That's kind of cool. Kind of edgy, I guess. I didn't... Well, no, I kind of fucking hated the mask guy. That was just boring. And then Naruto, like, does something cool and they tell him he can't do that anymore. But he gets it back later. And then, I don't know, the whole show just, like, really falls apart with, the ninja war stuff. It's just awful. Like, it's genuinely not worth watching. I do completely agree with what I said. Like, if you are enjoying Naruto and you haven't gotten to the point that I said stop yet, I think it's worth watching up until, like, Naruto walks in that fucking cave entrance with Nagato. And then it's mostly a downhill trek from there. Okay, back to... How did I even get on the topic of Naruto? I don't fucking remember. But back to... I think I was talking about the differences from anime and manga. That's right. How is Katekyo Hitman Reborn the bounty below of animes? Right up front, there's like 50 episodes of dog shit. So already the comparison's going great. And then they turn it into a shonen, which is, it's not great, but there are moments that are fun, I guess. The show doesn't really, that's the end, by the way. That's literally the end of my comparisons with Reborn and Bounty Below. But, I do think there's some merit to that comparison, though. I mean, well, not really, but it's kind of funny, though. Can you admit that, at least? That it's kind of funny? That's what I'm going for here. I want to be the kinda funniest streamer on Twitch.tv. That's my mission statement. So anyways, I was fucking blasting, or whatever the quote is. I just started blasting, I think is what it is. Yeah, no, I fucking lost it. Reborn sucks. As much as I hate Naruto, no, I'm actually, this is where it gets controversial. I'm gonna say that while Reborn sucks, and I wouldn't say it's good at all, I would actually say that Reborn is better than Naruto. And that's gonna upset a lot of people, because the actual content of Reborn is worse by a lot compared to Naruto. But, there's a big but. Is there a big but? I think there is. Yeah, it's a lot shorter, is where I was going with that. And I gotta say that, like, the end of Reborn is, like, a significantly better end than Naruto. I constantly link the ending of Naruto to, like, the climax of the SpongeBob movie. Just two dudes sitting on a fucking rock with their bloodstream turning into a heart. That's not really what happens, but it is close enough to be funny. Like I said, kind of funny streamer. Yeah, I don't know. I actually kind of like the I like the villain of, well, I don't know. I like him in some ways. I dislike him in other ways. Like, he is a kind of tropey pretty boy that gets mad when things don't go his way, though things go his way up until the very end. Yeah, he literally shows his true colors at the very end. But I don't know, just the concept of like a dude who can, he's not omnipotent, and that's important, but omniscient is a kind of cool dude. I like it. It's something I haven't seen done before and haven't seen done since, so it gets that. That's where Reborn spends its uniqueness points. Outside of the fact that it's kind of like Bounty Below and the having like a good part and a bad part. It's primarily the bad part, unfortunately. Like, even when things get serious, I would say at like episode 70-ish. And yeah, I know, that is a big commitment to work through before I would say the anime actually starts. But I would, yeah, even like when comparing it to fucking Naruto, like if you're one of the people that thinks Naruto doesn't start until Shippuden, then technically that's like 200 episodes you have to watch before it actually starts. I personally, if you actually want to watch Naruto, my recommendation is don't. But if you have to, just watch a highlight reel of like the original series. Make sure you get that well, I don't know. I'd say just like Google when the fucking Chunin exams start. Just watch like up until the Gaara and Rock Lee fight, and that's all you need, really. Maybe go to the end, watch the Sasuke fight, and call it a day. And then move on to Shippuden and stop when I told you to stop that. And you'll be right as rain. Not like I'm a fucking aficionado on the perfect way to experience Naruto or anything, but I am, so you should take me seriously. Very seriously. Right, am I gonna actually, like, progress in this game? I wanted this to be... And it is working. Like, it is actually a fair representation that, I kind of still don't like where the balance is. And this isn't gonna make anybody happy. But I still feel like you progress too quickly. Even after, like, some very, very heavy... The thing is, I kind of went back on it today. I nerfed bosses a little bit. And yesterday, I made it so that, rock HP was not... It didn't get as crazy. But, I don't know. I also haven't adjusted, like, the scaling of the units at all, so it is kind of like a scary game to play with balancing HP across. I mean, I could rebalance the units, but that's kind of painful. I have that, like, absolutely, like, splattered all throughout the code. Doing little tweaks on just, like, rock HP and stuff is very easy, but if I wanted to individually balance every unit, that would be a huge pain in the ass. Especially the cost of the units. I do not want to explain how the cost for the units works, because the way I set that up is just bad. Just very bad. Like, all of these upgrades, not just the units, are not fun to implement. Which is why this, even though it should have been a very easy implementation, and it wasn't bad, I basically, like, most of the work was copy-pasted by the way this works. So even though it should have been a fairly simple implementation, it still took me a few hours of work to get it working. Just because a lot of this tree of life, there's no automation to it. It is all, like, I have to manually position everything, I have to manually set every single price, and I have to do a lot of back-end work to get the upgrades, like, functioning. It's just, like, the worst way I could have ever done things, but... I mean, a lot of this game is just... Like, especially on the back end, is what I'm talking about. Like, a lot of this game is bad, don't get me wrong. But a lot of this game was made, like, poorly as well. Like, if I was working with another developer, they would just not work with me because of the hoops you have to jump through to add content to, like, the idle section of the game in particular. Dungeons, I spent a lot of work making it so that it's very easy to add content to. In Dungeons, I'm pleased to say that I think I actually did a good job. I got better at programming. I did things the right way, and as a result, I got the opportunity to save content addition until the very end and add like 12 plus items in one sitting. It was a pretty rough workday, don't get me wrong. I stayed up for well over 30 hours, but I did it. I added the content I needed to. Dude, it's kind of sad. I would love to be proved wrong about this. Probably proven. I would love to be proven wrong about this, but I feel like nobody is ever going to beat the game as the final character, let alone unlock the final character. Ugh. But that's fine. It's fine if, like, they're... Especially the characters. Like, the characters do add, like, a lot of replayability to the dungeons part of the game. But it's also, like... I feel like you could still play plenty of the dungeons without ever touching the characters. They do, like, drastically change the way the game is played in, hopefully, interesting ways. But, yeah, it's also like a decent amount of commitment to get to the point where you've beaten the game as every character except the last one, just to unlock the last character. And, yeah, then to beat it as that character. I would not be shocked to see that nobody does it. Ever. Like, literally ever. Because it's honestly a bit bullshit. It's a smidge too hard. Though I think the way the divinity item is currently balanced kind of makes the character free. Which I'll have to look into. Because I wanted to make, and I meant to do it before releasing the game, but forgot to, and also it doesn't matter because I guarantee nobody has this character unlocked yet, unless they edited their save files, which is possible. But I wanted to give the bottom character divinity as their starting item. So I should probably make sure that it doesn't just completely break the character and make it free, because it is meant to be, like, there's no fun to be had with it. It's just, like, it's a lost character. Not, like, lost as in it's hopeless, although it is if you plan on beating it. I mean, lost as in, like, the Binding of Isaac. It dies in one hit. There you go. Spoilers. That's, like, the only thing the character does differently. It literally is just, hey, here's a character that dies in one hit. Beat the game without getting hit. Which, if you got, like, a really good defensive item early on, like, I mean, obviously, you start with Divinity, so you have a bit of protection. For those who don't know, which is probably most, Divinity is a block. And if you mistime the block, it costs life. But if you can't afford the life cost, it costs nothing. So you start to see the problem where I'm pretty sure it just actually makes the last character invincible because it has 1 HP. So you just, you know, you spam the spacebar and you never die because you always have your block up. Not great. I should rework that. I don't know how to rework that because I don't have cooldowns implemented in any sort of fashion. It is like a fairly expensive mana cost, so I guess you do have to overcome that. Yeah, maybe it's fine. I should also change it so that that character always stays at max HP, because it has 666 life, but all of it is reserved, so, you know, you still die in one hit. But, yeah, if you use an ability or spell that costs life, what am I saying? It would lower the number so that you'd be at like 661 out of 666 HP, which is less interesting of a number. It kind of takes the ominousness away from it and just makes it funny. Okay. Am I done streaming? I think I might be done streaming soon, but not yet. 2 hours, 14 minutes. I could keep going. Spellbook teaches acolytes how to increase the effectiveness of the Tome of Patience subweapon. Oh, these are just useless. Look. I think that this one is probably good if you're using that, but I'm not using it, and I don't want to use it. Wait, actually, as you read, you grow stronger. What does this do? I'm crafting it, and I might not use it. But, like, is there a difference between the ring and the Tome of Patience? Brings power to your main weapon. Oh, you know what it is? I think I know exactly what it is. Wait, focus. Fuck. I think this gives you power to both of your weapons, but at, like, a lowered rate. Like, the ring is more powerful, but does not work with sub-weapons, which is why this is green and yellow. Because it, look at that. Gets a little bit of yellow in it, and nope, it's just main damage. It's just worse. What is this item? Am I insane? I think I just need to redo that description. I think I'm... I think I'm right in that it also increases... I have to get it just to test it at this point. Wait, what the fuck am I talking about? It's a sub-weapon. It can't upgrade your sub-weapon, and you have to hold it? What? Why is it just objectively worse than the ring that you don't have to do anything for? I'm crazy, dude. I'm actually crazy. Am I... Yeah, no, I'm just... I think I meant for the... If... I'm teleporting myself back in time. If I actually wanted those to do the same thing... I think I... What am I doing? I think I meant for the one that you have to manually hold right mouse button down to use. I definitely meant for that one to be better. But turns out it's just worse? That's embarrassing. 3,000... Okay. Well, I'll fix that in an update, I guess. I genuinely don't even know where to fix that. That's how long it's been since I interacted with the item side of the idle part of the game. It's like one of the first things I added is all of the items. And the unlocks, obviously. Woo! Can you stop giving me single notes, bud? Thank you. Yeah, it's just worse, huh? Wow. And I said that this would be a no-bug stream. I mean, hey, it kinda is not a bug. It's doing exactly what I programmed it to do. I just programmed it stupidly. My bad. That's insane to me. How did I make that mistake? Oh well. Yeah, in the next update of Bounty Below, expect dungeon item descriptions and the stat value of the ring and the Tome of Patience to be swapped around. The Tome of Patience to be the one that's twice as good. Oh well. Alright, I think I am running out of things to talk about now. That's a good stream, though. And hopefully, I'm over the nervousness. I'm still probably gonna feel the nervousness from... And I did link the stream in the Discord before I went live. So I'm still probably, if I continue doing that, which I might as well, right? Still probably gonna feel that nervousness. At least for like the first, I don't know, 20 minutes or however long it took me this stream to get used to it. But, that's not so bad. I'm sure I'll get over it eventually. By the way, one last thing before we go. I've left you on this, like, nice-looking background the entire time. Get ready for fucking bright mode for those that want their eyes to bleed. And, even worse, my horrible attempts at tiling. I'm just... Look, okay? I tried to make nice, cool-looking, tiled backgrounds like Nuclear Throne, and you can feel the inspiration from the, I think it's the YV Nuclear Throne background here, with like the dark red color and the... Yeah, so I'm not Paul Veer. Paul Veer is significantly more talented than I am. I probably should have lowered the resolution I was working with, because this is just... I basically gave myself way too much work, and even more so when we go to this one. It's pretty bad. It's pretty bad. I don't know. When you look at it like this, it's not so bad. When you actually see, like, if you have, like, a fucking 4K monitor, if you can actually see, like, the full tiling and what it looks like, it looks pretty bad. It looks like the fucking back of a Yu-Gi-Oh card. It's not great. But, I don't know. I guess like this, it's not horrible. Again, I just made the resolution, like, way too high. Like, what was I fucking thinking? You also don't even get to see the other fucking hand here. There are two hands. It's not... This is flipped, okay? It's not both hands holding a hammer, alright? One of them is holding, tongs to take things out of the furnace, alright? God, it is pretty ugly, though. And because it was so ugly, I put, like, a fucking filter over it. Oh well. Anyways, yeah, that was fun. I had a good time. If anybody did show up during the stream, hopefully they did too. But, yeah, I guess I'm kind of embracing the streaming to 0 viewers lifestyle. It's not so bad. And, I don't know when I'm going to stream next. It's probably better if I don't say, because then I don't feel like, you know, forced to stream on a day that I don't want to stream. But, yeah, it's Sunday, right? Well, now it's Monday, technically. I'll probably stream again this week, and if I don't, then I don't. But it was fun, so, yeah. Bye, I guess. See ya. Later. Bye.